Okay, so we'll just hop right in. Charlene and I are going to be presenting on supported decision making this morning. And just so you all know, if we do have some time at the end, I'm not sure if we will, but I can chat a little bit about our medical decision making resources, which we shifted into after our supported decision making work. And yeah, so we're pretty excited about this work. It has all been co-created by people with lived experience. So a huge thank you to all of the folks that you see on the screen that assisted us in creating these resources. And I can honestly say that additional experience, that additional lens has been invaluable. These resources would not be half of what they are if we decided to just create them on our own and not include people with lived experience. So yeah, just a huge thank you to all of the time and energy that people have put into this. And thank you to Shar for being here today to share your experience of being a co-author of all of the resources. When we released our supported decision-making resources, we're trying to kind of get have more fun with our social media at times. And so we created this really fun cheeky meme campaign when we released everything. So we've got Jamie here where it says supporter. It's just easier to make decisions for you. We know what's best for you. And then we've got Jamie's face there, which says it all. He's thinking, no, it's my life. I know what's best for me. So with that, just acknowledging the self-advocacy movement. And ultimately, people's right to services, people's right to support, and being able to choose the life that they want to live and having the support to do so. Shar, if I could turn to you to go over this slide with us.
Okay, let me just, there.
Is it large enough for you to read?
Oh, yeah. I just needed to move everybody to the left of my screen so I could finish reading what was on the screen.
Okay.
What is supported decision-making? A process that respects the rights of people to make decisions. It is based on the person's values, dreams, goals, and wishes. It is grounded in the idea that people should be at the center of making decisions that impact their lives, and they should be able to decide how others are involved.
Thank you. So then I would like to ask you, how do you prefer to be supported as you make decisions?
For me, I'd like to have somebody, when I ask for support, if it's a decision that I'm trying to work on, to decide how to go about making a decision, I can have that supporter beside me and just say, how would you deal with the situation? Just talking it out with a support group and getting their views or their, insight of how to go about making a proper decision.
Mm-hmm. So choosing to include people as you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking through the possible outcomes. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Shar. There's another cheeky meme for you all. Okay. So this is what our workbook looks like. There will be a link, and I believe Nofa is also going to send out an email with following this with the slides. So you'll have the link to all of our supported decision-making resources, but they're all on our website. This is what the workbook itself looks like. The supported decision-making workbook that we went off of was, or I shouldn't even say that we went off of, we kind of revamped the entire thing. It was like early 2000s, I believe the last one was completed. And so it needed a complete overhaul. And again, co-creating with people with lived experience was huge. So there's just a snippet out of the workbook around how supporters should and should not support people. And ultimately, this workbook, what we heard self-advocates say is there's so much out there for supporters, there's not much out there for us. And this is something that is for us. This is for me to use. And so having something like this saying, you know, these are your rights. This is how a supporter should be able to support you. They shouldn't be forcing their opinions and their decisions on you, and allowing individuals to really understand how they can lead their lives. Shar, was there anything you wanted to add about this?
No,
you don't have to. I'm putting you on this spot.
I think you said it all, Chandra.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so then we have supported decision making for supporters. And we highly recommend that if anybody's ever going to support somebody through the process, that they not only go over that last workbook prior to, but also supported decision making for supporters. This is just a quick breakdown of the supported decision making process, which is in the supporters workbook. In the individual workbook, it's broken down quite a lot further so that an individual can kind of feel through and think through all of this within the process. Within this as well, there's things about myths around supported decision making and things like, you know, there's lots of reasons why people think that somebody that's supported decision making won't be successful for somebody. But really, it's a right to have support to make decisions. And even if we have things like adult guardianship orders in place, it's still a right to have that support to make decisions as much as is possible. On that note, I also created an alternatives to guardianship document, which is on our website, because that's a whole nother area that I'm passionate about, is just allowing people to maintain autonomy as much as possible. Okay, so here's Shar starring in a meme. And so Shar, what was it like being a co-author of these resources?
I really enjoyed it. I found out a lot of things that I didn't know doing that when we were doing this. And it was very exciting to work on it with the other self-advocates that are involved. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing it.
Awesome. Thanks, Shar. I'm not going to go too deep into this one. Staying safe on social media. It allows people to kind of work through things like how they can keep themselves safe. What are safe things to post? What aren't? That sort of thing. My emotional support plan, we'll dig into this one a little bit, just because it has relevance for today, I believe. And so I'm sure lots of you have heard about a safety plan. So oftentimes those are things that are put in place, especially for those impacted by domestic violence. So as we were creating this resource, and as I was thinking through, safety plans and, okay, well, what about an emotional safety plan? And what about once we are safe, once we're in a safer space, sometimes that doesn't translate into us feeling safe. So what can we do, and what tools do we have? What resources do we have to allow ourselves to feel safer? So, things that people also with disabilities have not always had the opportunity to be a part of these conversations and to really think through and feel through these things. So even things like, what does it feel like in my body when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm scared, and what can I do to help myself feel better? As you keep going in the resource, there's a whole bunch of different questions around where are some places that I can go? What are some places that I can call? How will I get to those places, etc. So it goes a little bit further into things from here. And then we also included some information for supporters, recognizing that not everybody has the skills to help somebody work through some of their traumas or challenging experiences. And so here are some ways that you can really validate someone, not shut someone down and make them not want to discuss this further with you, but allow them to think about, maybe how to have that conversation so that you can maybe connect them to another resource that may be more suitable than yourself. So then, Shar, why do you feel like my emotional support plan is important?
For me, it's important to know that I have those people if I'm needing to go and talk to them about concerns I have or a decision that I need to make. It's just nice to know that I have a support team with me along the way whenever I reach out to them and ask them for some advice or guidance on a decision.
Mm-hmm. So being able to keep the plan and knowing who you can kind of reach out to, who are your main people who can help you work through things if you're needing it.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And then, Shar, do you mind just taking us through this?
Okay. Why did we create the emotional support plan resource? Allows people to consider if a challenging situation or traumatic experience is affecting them. Allows people to consider if they are ready to talk about the challenging situation they have gone through with someone they trust. Empowers people to access resources as they feel comfortable and ready. Empowers people to consider things they can do to allow them to feel safer and more in control.
Perfect, thank you. Here is another example of a resource. So if you're keeping track, within quite a short period of time, we created the supported decision-making workbook, the supporters section, and actually 4 additional resources to accompany it. So that was within what, Shar, about a year and a half?
About that, yeah.
As well as then shifting into medical decision-making. So we worked pretty quickly and hard on all of these resources. Okay, so here's just a snippet of that resource, and essentially it goes through it in the document, but the check mark is I feel 100% confident making this decision on my own. The plus sign is I need some support making this decision, and the exclamation point is I don't feel comfortable making this decision and I would like full support. And I like to include this snippet of the document because it allows for a good example. So do you know how to manage relationships with your family members, for example? With my sister, yes, I feel great about my relationship with my sister. I'm a check mark there. I can put sister under that one. For my dad, sometimes that's a tricky relationship. So I'm good sometimes, but I will ask for support when I need it. And then maybe I have an uncle who tries calling me all the time, or maybe there's just something there that I feel completely uncomfortable with. I'm wanting to put a boundary in place. I'm not comfortable talking to him. And so then I can ask my supporters to say, hey, can you help me with this boundary? How can I ensure that I feel safe here? What can I do? So that's just an example as to how you can use this document. Shar, was there anything you wanted to add about this one?
I'm the same way, like as you are, Chandria, with asking if I need the help, but a lot of the decisions I've had to make lately, I've been able to do it on my own, but I do know that there are people out there, my support group, that are out there that if I do need some help, they're always a phone call or a text message away.
Awesome. So you might be in the check mark for lots of these, but then you'll identify if there are some where you'd maybe be in like the plus.
Yeah.
An exclamation point. Yeah, perfect. Okay. My health, how to support my decision making. We're not going to go too much into health resources today, just for time's sake, like I said. But just wanted to give you a quick snippet of this one. It's the same type of resource, but laid out for health focused questions. And we have a couple other resources. Again, I spoke in our breakout room about My Healthcare Wishes. That's our most recent resource. We actually received a grant to complete that work. It's incredibly exciting work, not only kind of groundbreaking in Canada, but internationally. Digging into the research was really challenging because there's really nothing or next to nothing out there. So if you're interested in reading the research that we did find, there is My Healthcare Wishes for supporters on our website as well, and that's all in there as well. We also created a health passport, which again, we just don't have time for today, but if you're interested, those are all on our website under medical decision making. So then I just wanted to leave us off with, why does supported decision making help keep people safe? And ultimately, like I sort of identified at the beginning of our presentation, is that allowing people to know their rights, allowing people to feel empowered can help keep people safe. Allowing people to know that they have the right to choose who they would like to be involved. There's questions right at the beginning before you even start the supported decision-making process. Do I feel safe? If I don't feel safe in the room with the people that I'm with, then, you know, that's a good indication that maybe those aren't the right people in the room. And for every decision, you can choose different people that you'd like to be included. So ultimately, the intention behind supported decision-making is that it should create a really safe space for people to ask questions, for people to be given information, for people to feel through things and think through what they would like to do. And I also just think that plain language and accessible information is a right. We have heard from a number of different groups that this isn't only applicable to people with disabilities, that these plain language resources can actually assist with a number of different folks that could benefit from things being in plain language. And yeah, so I think just having information be a lot more accessible to people in this way is a step in the right direction, hopefully. Shar, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, actually, no.
No? Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have. Oh, sorry, Shar. Maybe did you want to just do a quick shout out to ICANN? We included it in your blurb about who you are, and because you're actively involved. So
ICANN is a group of self-supporters again, and we meet weekly. Sometimes we have guest speakers come in to talk to us. Some meetings we just have a relaxed meeting and just touch base with everybody else that's throughout the province. Back in the spring, I believe it was, we had a corporation that reached out to us, SaskTel, and wanted to meet with us in one of our meetings to talk about how they could make their offices or their outlets more inclusive. So we met with them and gave them some good ideas of how to do that. Yeah, and then we've got a fun event happening next Wednesday for our Christmas get-together party on Zoom to kick off the holidays. So we'll be doing that next Wednesday evening.
yeah, you all do tons of amazing work, accessible transportation, so on and so forth. It is for people who identify as having a disability over the age of 18. Anybody can join. So if anybody wants more info, the link is there and you can reach out. So there is the link to our supported decision-making resources. Again, you'll also be able to, under our work where this is located, there's medical decision-making, there's publication and resources where you can find alternatives to guardianship. So there's a number of things on that page as well.